Okay, so this whole Google brouhaha has been really fucking pissing me off. Exclusive. Here's the full 10-page anti-diversity screed circulating internally at Google. From Gizmodo, unsurprisingly. So it's an anti-diversity screed in which the guy writing it says, "I strongly believe in gender and racial diversity." And this is something he repeatedly says. He's always hedging that he believes in the same end goal as the intersectionalist establishment. He's always saying that. I hope it's clear that I'm not saying that diversity is bad, that Google or society is 100% fair, that we shouldn't try to correct for existing biases, or blah blah blah. So, yeah, some anti-diversity screed. What it essentially boils down to is saying, I agree with your end goals, but here are these biological facts that will get in the way and that we need to account for. He's saying, for example, that women on average deal with stress less well. We might need to make tech and leadership less stressful. Google already partly does this with its many stress reduction courses and benefits. Women on average look for more work-life balance, while men have a higher drive for status on average. So things like that. He points out the gender paradox, the idea that as a society becomes more egalitarian in its legal and cultural structures, the only thing that will be left will be genetic influences. And so any inherent equalities will become enlarged. But the guy completely agrees with their end goals. He says, the male gender role is currently inflexible. Feminism has made great progress in freeing women from the female gender role, but men are still very much tied to the male gender role. If we as a society allow men to be more feminine, in quote marks, then the gender gap will shrink, although probably because men will leave tech and leadership for traditionally feminine roles. So it's not even here as if he's saying equal representation and diversity is bad. He thinks that's good. He just knows something about inherent differences between men and women. And he feels that the politics around it have become puritanical. So it's not an anti-diversity screed. That's not what it is. He has suggestions that we should demoralise diversity, stop alienating conservatives, confront Google's biases, stop restricting programmes and classes to certain genders or races, have an open and honest discussion about the costs and benefits of our diversity programmes. And he even said, I realise that some of our programmes may be precautions against government accusations of discrimination. Blah, blah. So he's always hedging. He's always saying, look, I get it. Here are some facts that might make it difficult, that we might need to deal with. Focus on psychological safety, as in general, not just race, gender diversity. So again, he agrees. He's just saying there's more to it. So it's a really very moderate position, and even that isn't sufficient. His real crime is that he pointed out sex differences. That's his real crime. I was saying gender differences earlier, but yeah, sex differences. That's his real crime here. I think some of the suggestions are at least a good start. De-emphasise empathy. I've heard several calls for increased empathy on diversity courses. While I strongly support trying to understand how and why people think the way they do, relying on effective empathy, feeling another's pain, causes us to focus on anecdotes, favour individuals similar to us, and harbour other irrational, dangerous biases. Being emotionally unengaged helps us better reason about the facts. Great. Prioritise intention. Our focus on microaggressions and other unintentional transgressions increases our sensitivity, which is not universally positive. Sensitivity increases both our tendency to take offence and our self-censorship, leading to authoritarian policies. Speaking up without the fear of being harshly judged is central to psychological safety, but these practices can remove that safety by judging unintentional transgressions. Great. Be open about the science of human nature. Reconsider making unconscious bias training mandatory for promo committees. So he's saying, Diversity and inclusion and equal representation is the end goal, but the current methods are garbage and need to change. Even that isn't sufficient, and the comments basically make him out to be a monster who's saying that women and other races are subhuman, so that they can't even understand that distinction. They can't even understand that distinction at all. That's just completely fucked to me. Actually, having read his supposed anti-diversity screed, it's shocking. It really is shocking. Even now, it never fails to surprise me, the level it goes to. The level this intersectional crap will go to. The depths it will plumb. Over and out.